Okay, everyone, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Ansel Booker. I'm the Director for the Diversity and Inclusion Office here on campus, and we also have with us today.
My name is Corey Wetzel. I'm the Assistant Director at the Counseling and Psychological Services Center.
Okay, great. And we also have some special guests today that will introduce themselves at the appropriate time. But we wanted to take this opportunity as a discussion, reflection, and steps towards advocacy in light of the verdict that came out about Ms. Breonna Taylor, and to also show some ways for students on campus where they can deal with not only their grief, but also ways they continue to provide ways for them to advocate safely on campus. And as you know, this event was scheduled for last Friday, but unfortunately due to the weather, we had to postpone it to this Friday. So what we wanted to do is have an opportunity to still share the thoughts and sentiments that we have from the same reflection of last week, but also to push it forward in terms of providing opportunities to talk about the Diversity in Nursing Scholarship, and then also having Dr. Bokros on board here to talk about Political Action Wednesdays and actually the Breathe Act. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening and for watching. And we'll have this posted as a recording in the next few days. Okay, here are some quick ground rules that we always ask that if you are participating in any of our sessions, because we want to make a safe space for everyone that participates. We also know that we all are biased and we all come with our different opinions and also perspectives, but we ask that we just make sure that this is an opportunity that everyone feels safe and welcome, that their opinion feels valued and even at least accepted, okay? So Mercer's community respect applies to this group again, and make sure that you're please be respectful of one another. Be aware and mindful that we only have 1 hour and this is the start of the conversation. Again, you can post questions and comments in the chat feature. We ask that you also raise your hand if you have something to say or have additional questions. And again, we weren't sure as to how many people would attend because again, this is co-sponsored by the Gamma Zeta chapter of Omega Psi Phi and Mercer's chapter of the NAACP, who will be hosting a visual later on tonight. So again, just know that this is the start of the conversation. It can and will continue at the visual tonight at 7 p.m. And again, if any of our posts or comments are becoming disrespectful, the conversation is not going in a conducive direction, we will ask that you refrain and we may have to remove you from this space. But again, thank you so very much for being a part of this very important conversation. Okay, so I'm going to ask that Miss Jasmine Garrett join the screen for us right now. And then what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Speaker View. And I will allow her to share some information about the College of Nursing Diversity and Nursing Scholarship that she started and created.
Alrighty, hey everyone, my name is Jasmine Garrett. As Dr. Booker introduced me, I am a doctorate of nursing practice student on the adult general acute care nurse practitioner track, I know that's a mouthful, at the College of Nursing in Atlanta. I am the creator of the Diversity in Nursing Scholarship, inspired by the life and memory of Breonna Taylor. And I think I'm just gonna change my feed really quick. I believe the actual PowerPoint is posted so you guys can see the words, so I'm not gonna reread it verbatim. But basically I was inspired to create this scholarship just after, I wanna say around like beginning of April, after kind of mulling over and letting the whole situation around Breonna Taylor's death kind of sit with me after a moment. And I just felt like I wanted to do something to give back, some way to share my voice, share my opinion on this. Being an emergency room nurse, I was an emergency medical technician while I was in school. So seeing how this pandemic has hit and the like amazing work that nurses have been doing, fighting on the front lines, and then to see someone who is aspiring nurse, an aspiring African-American nurse, which is, we make up less than like 10% of all registered nurses in the field. So to see this happen, it just kind of hit a particular nerve with me. And I just felt that we needed to do something to at least, to as a community, to show our support in finding a way to improve diversity in nursing, help improve the recruitment and retention of African-American nursing students, because just going to nursing school is tough enough. And so I wanted to find something that I could do, get started, put the bug in someone's ear to see if we can make this a reality. So that is kind of my whole mindset behind the actual scholarship. And currently, I want to say to date, we have about $10,000 pledged, which is pretty amazing. I am also the lead donor, so I started by giving $1,000 to the scholarship fund. And the whole goal of this, I mean, we've surpassed our $5,000 like initial marker, and so our goal is to hit $25,000 in 5 years to make this an endowed scholarship in Mercer University, which basically means it's just going to continue on forever and ever. And which would be amazing to be able to have that kind of financial support for future nursing students, and then also finding a way to continue to say Breonna Taylor's name and give even more recognition to the fact that this person, this amazing young woman, had hopes and dreams that was cut far too short by just systemic racism and things that just were not helping her, in a system that was not built for her to help achieve those dreams. And so I think that it's important that we start this conversation. And so this scholarship, although I know it won't, be the end all be all for racism or all the big issues, but I do think that my intention with this scholarship is to at least get this conversation started so that we can have something that continues on, and we can keep having this conversation until we get to the places that we need to and help to make health equity, a more diverse nursing workforce, and just really celebrating the diversity that is here. So, and I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything like that. I do know that we are still accepting any type of support, whether it's monetary, whether it's sharing with friends, colleagues, peers, coworkers. Definitely still accepting, and anybody that's interested in finding a way to, help continue this movement. If you guys have any creative ideas, I'm super open. But that's kind of my whole intention with the scholarship, and I just think that this is just my small voice in making a difference. So.
Well, Jasmine, thank you so very much for joining us today to share more information about the scholarship. I think this is an excellent opportunity of showing students actually getting to work and providing a space, a safe space for advocacy, and then also a safe space for us to say those person's name out loud, particularly Breonna Taylor. And then we're also looking forward to where we can benefit Mercer directly by increasing the diversity in the College of Nursing. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. If you do want to learn more, there's an excellent article that was posted last week in the Den, where they were able to interview Jasmine Dean Strait and to provide some more context for the scholarship, and also to provide a link for you to go and donate. So again, thank you so very much for memorializing Ms. Taylor with this scholarship, and also find a way to leave a legacy at Mercer University. So thank you so very much for joining us. I really do appreciate your hard work in this endeavor. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
And if you could drop the link in the chat, I think that would be great for donating. I think it's through the campus give page, right?
Yes, I will do that. That I actually was able to get that extended through October 30th,
Okay.
the actual give campaign link, but still accepting donations through the actual Mercer main give page. So I'll put both of those links.
Okay. All right, thank you so very much. Okay, so we'll move on to our next segment. Okay. So this is just a photo that was actually, I'm not sure the origin of it, but there have been many memorials and vigils that have been held in honor of Breonna Taylor, and several of those that have lost their lives to violence, including Ahmaud, as well as George Floyd throughout this year. So I thank everyone for being able to post these lovely photos, this lovely artwork. We did even have a student that was able to post a beautiful picture when we did the march and vigil on campus earlier this year. That was really done to help bring awareness to some of the issues and concerns in our community as it relates to police brutality. So thank you so very much. Okay, so I'll get ask that Dr. Carol Brokers please join us to talk a little bit about how you can take advocacy.
Yeah, just another Another small bit that you can take part in is Political Action Wednesdays, which a committee of us have instituted this fall. Our aim is to find one issue to present to students every week, and we stalk students outside of the cafeteria during lunch hour on Fried Chicken Wednesdays when we know they're all coming in for their fried chicken. And we've had a great reception, actually. A lot of people will stop and hear about the issue of the day and then use our QR code and take action, which normally involves writing to our senators. One week was the mayor, but they're the elected officials that are appropriate to voice your opinions to. Last week, we focused on the Breathe Act, which is a piece of legislation that is multi-pronged, right? And means to bring more justice, more social justice to our society. And I have up the main points of the Breathe Act would be to divest federal resources from incarceration and policing, invest in new non-punitive approaches to community safety, allocate new money to building healthy, sustainable, and equitable communities, and to hold political leaders to their promises, right? And enhance self-determination for Black communities. So we hope that all students will consider this legislation and support it, but every week there will be a new issue, and they're all going to be somehow related to civil rights or human rights in the US.
Thank you so very much for sharing that information. And again, this legislation is still up and they can still send in letters of support, correct? If I'm correct?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And,
yeah.
Yes. And I will say that it's working because I know I've been able to do some of the letters and send some, and I've actually gotten responses. So I think that is amazing. So again, students, if you do have the opportunity, if you want to check back, they post all of their QR codes and they post all the legislation on their Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter, and I use my Canvas platform for the pre-health students, so we have it in multiple places.
Okay, yes. So you can always double back and make your voices heard. So thank you so very much. Okay. So, Corey, Ms. Wetzel, if she's from the CAPS office, as she already mentioned earlier. So do you want to share a little bit about the motions that you think people may be experiencing, or those that they talked about earlier this summer when we did the Let's Start the Conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I'm displaying the feeling wheel, as we like to call it in my profession. This is also just to give people that idea that we experience lots and lots and lots of different emotions, and sometimes we don't necessarily think of them as emotions. But this feeling wheel is meant to sort of give us the words to different emotions that we might be feeling. And given that this, this year has been, very unique and very challenging in so many different ways, we decided back in the summer to host a forum of conversations related to both social unrest and dealing with COVID, and how does that impact our mental health. And so over the summer, we talked a lot about different emotions that people were identifying with in regards to the loss that we've experienced, in particular in regards to police brutality and social unrest. And so a lot of the emotions that were coming up were, feelings of sadness, feeling of anger, feeling kind of insecure or anxious, right, about kind of how they're experiencing it, whether or not, am I supposed to be feeling this way? Am I not supposed to be feeling this way? And so it really gave us a great opportunity to have a dialogue about different emotions that we're feeling, and hopefully it gave a space for individuals to talk to one another about their emotions and see that it's okay to be feeling all these things, because it would be, entirely unlikely if we weren't impacted by all of the information that we're kind of digesting this year, especially. And so I always like to think of it similarly to what people tell us in our field all the time is that we're susceptible to vicarious trauma as mental health therapists. And part of me feels like that's true of everyone in the world, because we watch the news, we see people, dealing with different, struggles and disparities and things like that. And it would be hard to say that we aren't impacted in some way when we see that happen. And so the feeling wheel is meant to kind of give us the words to talk about our emotions and to talk about how we're making sense of the world around us, so that we can actually kind of cope through it. So the feelings will help us then kind of navigate, what do I want to do to take care of myself? And definitely hoping to have more conversations with people about how do we take care of ourselves amongst all of this, just because it has been such a difficult year.
Thank you so very much for sharing that. I know we talked a little bit earlier before we got on about there was different articles, and the students are dealing with a lot right now. You're dealing with social injustice, you're dealing with COVID still and COVID concerns, and you're trying to get to this new normal. I think it's very important that we stay on top of our mental health and our mental wellness, making sure that we're still connecting and being a part of the community, and then also seeking resources when necessary. So again, I know Ms. Wetzel's office is open. You can make appointments. They're doing a lot of telehealth and telemedicine still, right? We're trying to set up opportunities with some of the graduate students to be able to provide some opportunities for talking circles and ways to de-stress and do some great things. I know RHA had a great de-stress event last Sunday where you were able to come in, grab some food, do a quick snack, and do some great de-stress activities. But again, just making sure that you're plugging in, you're engaging and seeking resources when necessary. I know quite a few students also use the Immerse Serve opportunities and be a good neighbor to plug in and to give back, and the opportunity, like not everyone's gonna be an advocate, but again, there's just serving was another way that students were able to tap in and plug into the community around us in Mercer University and use that opportunity to not only serve, but to also heal and to have those very powerful conversations. So I think that's awesome.
I have to
Again,
agree. I have to agree with that from kind of the mental health perspective, is that a lot of these things that we're facing also feel like things that we don't have a ton of control over. And so it feels really nice when we think about these other opportunities. So whether or not that's, going the Jasmine route and creating a scholarship, or, engaging in like the Political Action Wednesdays, but I do agree that finding other ways in which you can connect to the community, or, find ways of your own sort of passions and interests to be involved is a great way to cope as well. So.
I love that. I love that too. And then I was just going to add on to that just a little bit too. We know that Mercer is, because of its Baptist heritage, we have a lot of faith-based and religious-based organizations on campus. So that can also be another outlet for students, faculty, and staff. We do have a university minister, if that's someone you feel connected to and like to talk to about some of the trauma and the things that you are also experiencing. I know my office and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion serves as a safe space if you're experiencing any forms of discrimination or bias or sexism, ageism, ableism, whatever those things may be. You can also reach out to me and I'll connect with you to the appropriate resources as well. So again, there's a lot of open arms and even safe spaces on campus for students to get engaged and to feel connected and to also get some help and also some resources. So with that being said, I know tonight's visual is at 7:00 on the historic quad, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Well, I thank everyone for joining us. We do have one participant online. I don't know if they would like to say something or to like to express some feelings or thoughts about the conversation thus far before we log off.
Just gonna say, definitely just being a student at Mercer it's already difficult, but it's even more difficult when you see your own people, suffering from police brutality and systemic racism. So I really appreciate events like this, and I just hope we can continue to have things like this. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, for sharing. I do appreciate your opinion, and we do take that to heart and in consideration. We were trying to plan events, so thank you so very much for the support. So I do have an official time and update. So the Gamma Zeta chapter of Omega Psi Phi just posted their flyer. Not just posted, but I went to their page, and they do have it from 7 to 8 p.m. And it is going to be on the historic quad, which is right behind the administration building. So it will be, for those of you who are listening and those of you who want to attend the visual, it will be from 7 to 8 p.m. on the historic quad. Well, thank y'all again so much for joining us. We will make this recording available, and you can feel free to share with your friends and family so you can hear more about Political Action Wednesdays, hear more about some of the advocacy we're doing on campus. If you have not donated to the scholarship and you would like to, we do have the links available. So again, the links are in the chat. So if you go to campusnet.net online giving, you should be able to see it. And if not, you can always go to the DEN's website and just type in nursing scholarship in the fund name, okay? All righty, we thank you so very much and you have a great afternoon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.